So in this series of recordings, we've been talking a lot about nonfiction for children. So you might be wondering at this point, how do I find quality books for children that I might use in my instruction or that I might want to buy and place in my classroom library? So in this part of our series of nonfiction recordings, we're going to talk about how you can find quality nonfiction. So what I have here on the screen, I have a list of different awards that you can turn to help you locate quality nonfiction. One award that I turn to time and again is the Robert F. Seibert Informational Book Medal. So this is given by the Association of Library Service to Children annually. That's a division of the American Library Association. It's the same group of people who give out the Newbery Medal and the Caldecott Medal. So you're probably familiar with those awards for sure. So it's given to an outstanding informational book, and usually they designate honor books as well. So usually every year there's like a nice set of approximately 3 to 5 books, or sometimes more, that are designated as Seibert Medal or Seibert Honor books. So that's a great source to look for. And if you simply plug in the name like Seibert Medal in a search bar, the Association of Library Services or Library Service to Children's website is going to come right up and give you a list of past award winners. So if you look at the websites for these awards, you can certainly locate books that have received these honors. Then we also have the YALSA Award for Excellence in Nonfiction for Young Adults. And this award is given by another division of the American Library Association that is focused on library services to young adults. So if you end up teaching in some of the upper grades, like 6th grade, with your elementary teaching license, you might want to turn to this award for some ideas about books that might be appropriate for older readers. Then the National Council of Teachers of English also has the Orbis Pictus Award, and every year they identify an award winner. They also recommend a number of other books that didn't win the award but are examples of high quality nonfiction. And oftentimes their list is pretty long that they put out every year on their on the Orbis Pictus website. So that's a really great website for identifying quality nonfiction. Then organizations like the National Council for Social Studies has the notable social studies trade books for young people, and every year they come out with a list of books that they think are very useful for teaching particular social studies themes like geography or history, things like that. What's a bummer though about this book list is that you can access it for free on the internet, but only older book lists. Like they will not publish their recent book lists like 2015 or 2014 online. But some of the older ones, like I think like 2008, you can certainly find on the internet, which is a bummer. But if you're a member of NCSS, you can certainly get that book list. But if you're not, then you have to rely on the older lists that they put on their website. Then the National Science Teachers Association also has a list that they put out annually of outstanding science trade books. And unlike NCSS, this book list is actually free, and they include their most current list on the internet for free. So that one's really good to look for if you're looking for nonfiction to incorporate in your science teaching. Also, the Boston Globe Horn Book Awards, that award has a category for nonfiction. And we also have awards that you are already familiar with, like the Caldecott Medal and the Newbery Medal. And these awards are not specifically given to nonfiction. In fact, most books that receive these awards are not nonfiction. But sometimes really outstanding works in nonfiction will win one of these awards. So you shouldn't overlook these awards as sources for locating good nonfiction. For example, Hitler Youth, Growing Up in Hitler's Shadow, received a Seibert honor, but it also received a Newbery honor, I think around 2005. So you could certainly find this book in a list of past Newbery Medal and honor winners. Locomotive by Brian Floca is an informational book about the building of railroads and how people began to move west, because it was easier as a result of westward expansion and the building of the railroad. And this won a Caldecott Medal, but it's also a great informational book, and it received a Seibert honor. So sometimes there's overlap between awards that are specific for informational books and some of these other more well-known awards like the Caldecott and the Newbery Medals. I also highly recommend that you locate nonfiction by looking at some of the Multicultural Book Awards. For example, the Coretta Scott King Award has a number of books that have, or informational books that have received this award. So if you go on the Coretta Scott King Award website, you can certainly find a number of nonfiction books that you might want to use in your classroom. For example, We Are the Ship, The Story of Negro League Baseball by Kadir Nelson, great example of an informational book. Bad News for Outlaws, The Remarkable Life of Bass Reeves, Deputy U.S. Marshal. That book is really interesting, so if you can get your hands on that, I suggest you check that out. But these are both Coretta Scott King Award or honor books, and they are works of nonfiction. The Pura Belpre Award is given to outstanding authors and illustrators of Latin American descent, and oftentimes Pura Belpre winners, if you look through book lists of award and honor books, you can often find great works of nonfiction. Like one of the most recent winners is Separate is Never Equal, Sylvia Mendez and her family's fight for desegregation, which is about how a Mexican American family fought the state of California in order to allow Mexican American children to attend the same schools as white children, and that was before Brown versus the Board of Education in 1954. So you should certainly seek out multicultural book awards in your quest for quality nonfiction. All right, in our next recording, we're going to talk about how you can evaluate nonfiction.